Okay, looks like we're live. Let me go ahead and make sure. Let's get live on Instagram too, because this is going to be brand new here. It's taking a second. It's thinking. All right. So we're going to go live on Instagram here. And so this is a new audience for me. So what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Friday's live stream. On the Friday co-working live stream. This is really for ADHD brains and people that just have tasks that they want to knock out for the weekend. A lot of times it makes sense to have somebody co-working quietly next to you. We're having some internet issues. That's what took so long. The internet people are back in my backyard. And so if we get choppy, that's what's happening. And so hopefully we can power through these issues. I really don't want to have to deal with this BS heading into Friday. Today's episode, I got some tasks I need to get done. I got some marketing stuff I need to get done. And so what I thought I'd do is kind of give you a glimpse behind the curtain so that you can kind of see what I'm doing and get a sense of it. And I can kind of explain some of the marketing philosophy behind it, and then answer questions during the break. So we're going to go ahead and roll the intro, and then we're going to get into this thing. All right, y'all. So for those that have never tuned into this, the Friday live stream is basically an opportunity to come in before the weekend, bring your task. We work together. We work in 10-minute sprints, and every 10 minutes I take a little bit of a break to answer questions about marketing and branding and content creation and whatever else we got going on. Like I said, I'm looking and my internet connection is unstable. We have the internet people laying down fiber optic stuff in our neighborhood, and so it's kind of playing havoc with everybody's internet. And so if I drift in or drift out, that's what's happening. Please stay tuned. I am persistent. I am going to get this live stream out, and so if we get disconnected, I will reconnect immediately, and get this thing rolling. Okay, so I'm looking through my task list for the day, and one of the things I use AI for is I use it to help organize my thoughts. And so I will run down my daily tasks. And I have enough history with my AI, with my chat GPT, so it knows what business ventures I'm tied into, that I can just kind of talk to it and say, hey, these are the things that I need done, and generate a task list for this. And give me a first couple of steps so that I am not trying to figure out what my first couple of steps in midstream. I hope that makes sense. Okay. In the background, I am trying to add a TikTok live stream to this, and so we'll see how that goes. I may or may not do it this week. I might do it on the break, but like I said, Instagram is still new to me, so y'all a new audience from a live stream perspective. Okay, so today, let's see what we got. The priority for today is with Coach Mo Athletics, we have tryouts coming up. And so I do want to get the stuff up for tryouts because the tryouts are on the 27th. So I need to get my copy together, and all my wording together so that I can post for that and figure out how I'm going to deliver it. The ad budget ain't there this month. And so I'm going to have to really be hands-on with consistently posting for this. And so I'm going to walk you through the ad creation and the thought process behind the ad creation for that, from the format to the wording. And so I can make a social media post that actually pops and people can, it'll stop the scroll, which is kind of the idea of it. Okay. We're also relaunching aspects of our program. And so I have a promotion that's running. And so I'm going to be working on that. And I'll walk you through some of the thought process behind this. Like I said, we work in 10-minute sprints. In the interim, like when I'm on break, this is the opportunity. If you got questions or anything about different marketing things, go ahead and drop them in the chat and I'll try to answer them live stream. I never hold anything back on live streams. So you will get the same Brian that some of my clients get if you ask them on the stream, because I do try to give everything I know on the stream. So if you have real questions about how to market your business or product or service, I will answer the questions and I won't BS you and try that, you need to pay me to find out more. While I'm on here, I don't hold anything back. but I'm only on here for a limited amount of time. If you want ongoing access to me, that's when the services line up. And also, I'm going to tell you about something I've been working on that I'm actually probably going to be making one of my flagship offers for my marketing agency. So if y'all are ready to go and ready to get this ball rolling and ready for me to shut up um, and start the working, then I'm ready to get moving on that too. I do have my task list in front of me. And so my first step is to write the copy for tryouts. All right. So I'll walk you through that process. All right. I'm going to set my timer. We got 10 minutes here. And then we work in sprints. So timer's counting down from 10. And once we get to 10, this is the time where if you got your task, bring it in. If you got questions about some of the marketing stuff I'm doing, hit me up. All right, we're ready. We're rolling. Okay. First things first, we have tryouts on the 27th. Okay, so when it comes to the stuff on tryouts, the message that we want to deliver with tryouts is we want an air of exclusivity where we want parents that are locked into actually development, not just looking for a team. When you're writing copy for stuff, one of the things is, and I use the word copy, when you're writing ads, when you're writing Facebook posts, when you're writing anything to advertise the thing, this is not the time to be verbose. This is not the time to flex your vocabulary and show everybody, how many $100 words you want to be kind of at a 3rd to 5th grade reading level because that's where most people comprehend. And so if you've ever written something, a call, something to get people to do something, and they're not responding, then it's probably at a higher reading level. And it doesn't really matter, education wise or anything. Really learned people still, when they're just casually scrolling, they still only comprehend like at a 3rd to 5th grade reading level. They can read more technical stuff, but not all. But in their passing time, if you want something to connect with them, you need to keep it as simple as possible. So that's what the process is. Okay, I'm going to need a graphic for this too. This is thinking. So there's a simple framework, and I'm gonna pull it up here in a second, and I'll kind of walk you through it. But there's a really simple framework that you can apply um, to writing social media posts that really fall in the way the human brain recognizes stuff on social media. Because when we read stuff on social media, we don't read it like we're reading a book. We read it like we're reading a screen, and reading a screen requires catching somebody's eye and allowing them to kind of skim through it and get the information. And so we got to write stuff that people can skim through and get the information, and it naturally leads them to what you need them to do. Um, with this registration, I'm not going to have any registration link or anything along those lines. It's pretty much show up as you are, and then we'll collect the information there. We're trying a little bit more. We're trying to remove as much friction as possible. Okay, I'm gonna talk you a little bit through this. And one of the things with these live streams is I'm going to talk occasionally because that's part of co-working. It's like working in a cubicle. You're going to hear conversations. You're going to hear people talking, and it's kind of background noise. I try to stay silent, but I do talk through some of my ideas. Okay. So the idea is when you're writing social media content, one of the things you want to do is you want to be able to stop that scroll. Um, because, like I said, people don't read stuff on social media like they read in books, and so you got to stop the scroll. And so sometimes that's offering up a bold statement, question, or surprising statistic. Okay. Example would be most small businesses fail because most small businesses don't fail because of bad ideas. They fail because nobody ever saw the damn thing. That's a challenging, provocative statement designed to get people to pay attention. You want to build curiosity next. And so that's going to be if you're posting 3 times a week and still get no sales, this is probably why. So now you're going to say, okay, I want you to be curious. I want your investment. I want your mental investment in this thing. And then offer the takeaway. Visibility doesn't mean sales. You're providing some advice for them. Okay. So visibility doesn't mean sales, clarity and connection do. Okay. And then you give them a call to action. And this needs to be very simple. You need to tell them exactly what you want them to do in order to move on to the next step. Okay. So with that framework, we're going to rewrite this ad for team tryouts. And I'm using AI because all this stuff that I put into my chat, all this stuff I'm reading, I'm telling you, is stuff I already told my chat GPT how I design my stuff. Okay, that's good. Let's chop this down to a third grade reading level. And if you're not 100% comfortable reducing your post to a third grade reading level, you can start with like maybe a fifth grade elite reading level, and if you don't get the response, you kind of lower the difficulty of comprehension. So you go fifth grade, fourth grade, third grade, and you see which one gets the best traction. All right, let's go ahead and stop that. Okay, so we're on the break. Give yourself a pat on the back, and relax for a second. Give yourself a little bit of a mental reward, and just sit back and kind of listen. Okay, so one of the things is when you're dealing with AI, large language model, um, garbage in, garbage out. These things are as only good as the inputs that you give them. And a lot of times the stuff that you create in them still has to be reworked and revised. And that's going to start separating the people that are good users of this from bad users. The bad users just let the AI run wild and never proofread, copy check, make sure that it contains the right branding and messaging and stuff. The power users are going to be the ones that use it more as a tool as opposed to a replacement for their brain. So I'm just throwing that out there. Right now, my AI is not working the way I want it to, and so we got to give it some instructions here. Okay, I need you to keep all relevant information in my post. Continue using my framework to stop the scroll. At a third grade reading level. Good. Okay, it included everything I needed it in there, as I wrote it before. Just read. So basically, what I did was I input an ad that I wrote before, and I had it rework it so it could fit into that framework. All right. Let me hop back in here. So while we're on break, one of the things I want to run down to y'all is this. I actually have, yeah, Facebook's not lit. Facebook is tripping. So I wanted to kind of break down to you what one of the things I've been working on in the background while we're on break. So um, I am working with the Career Level Up podcast. I'm doing this distribution for the video podcast. And it's been going really, really well. Um, we've grown the audience pretty good. It hasn't been explosive or anything, but it's been consistent. But the real benefit that we're seeing from what I do at my distribution is we're starting to see offers for freelance work and career advancement opportunities and speaking engagements and things coming from that. Because when we designed this podcast, it wasn't designed to be this massive million follower thing on YouTube. It was meant to really speak to a specific segment of the audience. And so I've tailored my approach to do that, to make this make this into a machine that generates potential opportunities in the future, and potential money for the host and myself. And so um, the things I'm doing is I'm taking the live stream, I'm taking not the live stream, I'm taking podcast episodes as they come out. um, I'm creating clips with them to distribute on social media. I also do post new episodes when they come out, and I post them to all platforms. And then I do write a newsletter that summarizes all the points in that podcast, and I publish that as a newsletter on LinkedIn. And the LinkedIn Instagram newsletter has been explosive. People are really locking in and following that because the podcast has a pretty good cross section of high level people that work in Silicon Valley, and CEOs and C-suite executives. And so there's really something for everybody at all levels, and it's about career advancement. And so there's utility in reading the newsletter because you get to see the thoughts of some industry leaders. And so that's something I am actually doing for I Sell Words. And that's kind of the pivot I want to lean into, because I've been doing it for about 8 months now. And we're having good success with it. We're looking at opportunities to expand the podcast without necessarily chasing, 1 million viewers or subscribers or whatnot on YouTube. And so if you have a podcast or something, and when I say podcast, it's kind of becoming interchangeable long form video content on YouTube in a podcast form. Um, and so if you have something along those lines that you want somebody to clip and create content to promote it, I'm your guy. And so um, hit me up. You can drop me a message or whatnot and let me know. But really, I haven't really come up with the exact name for the service yet. But it's something I've been working on quietly behind the scenes. So I'm actually helping podcasters get seen, not just hit publish and hope for the best. Um, and so I do some light editing. I create short form clips. I write captions and headlines to post on different social media platforms. I format stuff for different platforms, and I write blog posts and newsletters to announce it and to act as supplemental information that goes along with it. And then I post the episodes when they go live. Okay. And so if you have a brand if you have some content that you're creating in a long form that you need some help with distributing, I'm your guy. Hit me up. All right. That was my little commercial. I'm probably going to do another one later on in the show, and it's going to be a little bit tighter. I need to make it flow a little bit better, and I probably need to come up with a name for this service so people can understand what it actually is just by hearing the name of it. Okay. I do apologize. My ADHD is firing today. It's really, really firing. And so I'm kind of stumbling through some of this stuff. Normally, this stuff would come a little bit easier to me. Hmm. Okay. It would normally come a little bit easier to me, but yeah, ADHD is going. So just bear with me. Like I said, we're not all perfect, and I don't expect perfection out of anybody. But I do need an outline. And for this, I'm kind of editing my outline for this. A podcast engine. I like that. Okay, so we're gonna get back into what I got going on here in my task list. So we're still in the middle, and I'm about to start my timer again so we can power through this. Project coordinator for Brails. I'm working on a project out here. I don't know who this is. Hmm. Okay, I'll take it. I think I just got hit up with a potential job inquiry, a marketing gig. So we'll see what happens. So we're gonna get back into the live stream and back into the co-working piece of this. Like I said, bring your tasks so we can power through them. We're gonna be starting the timer. We're gonna start our sprint now. I do like this copy for this. I think this is good enough to use without editing too much. One of the things that does piss me off about utilizing AI, I hate how it uses so many emojis. It drives me absolutely insane. I think the goofiest thing about AI is its over reliance on emojis. It's like a telltale sign that you are posting bullshit. I'm working on some graphics here for this too. When I say I have a deep bag, I do have a pretty deep marketing bag. I can do graphic design. I can do logos. I can do a lot of different things. And so, um, I do have a lot in my toolkit. Sometimes that's a benefit to me. Sometimes it's a detriment. Sorry, I got to listen to something here. I am multi. I am kind of multitasking, which is something I don't like to do, but I do need to see what this is about. Hmm. The Bay Hills. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I think that's a golf course. Okay. All right. So I need to go ahead and remove this background from this because this doesn't look right. If you pop on the stream, y'all, this is the co-working live stream. And so we uh I bring tasks and really try to emphasize um bring tasks here and really try to emphasize the co-working aspect of it. So it's typically for ADHD brains because if you're working, sometimes you need to hear a little bit of noise. You need to know that somebody else is alive on the other side. And so, um, you know, it helps when you feel like you have somebody else in the room with you. And that's the concept behind the co-working live stream. And so those that are unfamiliar with it, you know, it is what it is. This is opportunity for you to bring tasks that you need to get done before the weekend and knock them out. I feel bad because I'm kind of bombarding my business partner with shit today because my ADHD is flaring really, really bad. Okay. So we're going to utilize this file. All right, let's see. Make sure my date is right. One thing I have to be really careful of when I'm working on tasks is sometimes I try to move way too fast and I will try to skip steps to get things done. And that's not always beneficial, especially when you are doing stuff for a business, because all it takes is one mistake with your marketing message and you end up pissed off somebody or offended somebody, or you gave somebody the wrong information, and it kind of leads to people not engaging with future stuff that you post. So I do try to be careful about it, but I am a terrible speller and sometimes spell check won't save you. When did my timer get stopped? I joined an AI group on Facebook and I'm starting a new one, a big one, and I'm instantly starting to regret it because there's a lot of spammy bullshit in there. And typically, as soon as I see somebody start talking about a passive income, Well, let me change that. Yep, let me edit that. I'm glad I caught that. Like I was trying to tell you, you never want to piss off anybody because you're moving too fast with your copy. And I risk doing that. Now we're going to move forward with it. I really do hate how Facebook reposts stuff. It looks stupid. Ooh. Sorry. Okay, so that's one thing I can cross off my checklist. I'm going to be back to revise this just because I need to share this with followers or whatnot. But I want to move on to the next task I have on the agenda, y'all. My gosh. Is my timer still going? Because I ain't heard this joker go off yet. Oh, I got about 1 minute left. Okay, this one's for followers. And then I need to tag myself in this so that this goes out on mine. Tag, yeah. All right, that's the time. So we're going to take a quick pause for the cause. This is hard for me, y'all. So when you have ADHD, one of the things that happens is you end up in this thing where it's called hyperfocus, and um, sometimes my focus zeroes in on a task, and it's very hard for me to shift off of that task and downshift into something else. So this is a little bit of discipline for me, but I tell you, it can cause a little bit of physical pain. Just because it's very, you end up trying to shift between all these multitude of things, and it is exhausting and it can be taxing. So just putting that out there. Let's see. Let's try Tom Wait a minute, where did my thing go? Who else do I need to add to this? Let's put an address in here. So we're on a break. Go ahead and pat yourself on the back if you've been able to stay on task. You know, give yourself a pat on the back, because a lot of times it's not the task that's difficult, it's the focus that's required that's difficult. And so if you've been excelling with that and doing well with that, go ahead and give yourself some props. More times than not, for ADHD brains, the hardest part is actually initiating the thing that needs to be done. And so, you know, take pride in those small accomplishments as you move forward. It makes life a lot easier when you reward yourself incrementally, as opposed to trying to shotgun blast it all out there, um, and expect it all the, reward yourself as you go along. Don't always wait until you're completed with the task or the big hairy thing you're working on. Celebrate your victory in each step. Okay. I'm gonna get this posted, and then I can answer any marketing questions that pop up. And if there are none, then I will talk. I will yell into the void, because that's what I do. Oh, I cannot tag this user. That's fine. I don't care. We'll remove that, and be done. Okay, so the concept I applied to this is, and I'm gonna go back and discuss some of the framework for the social media posts. And the thing I like to do is I like to work with just frameworks, because frameworks are you can apply frameworks to any situation. You can adjust your framework based on what the situation is. When you get too locked into a process, if something changes along the way, your process kind of gets thrown to the wayside. And so when I do things, I like templates and frameworks because they're adjustable. Um, Always having a regimented process for everything, while it can give you a little bit of emotional comfort, as soon as you encounter something that doesn't follow your specific platform or your process, it can absolutely upend you. And so I just work on frameworks and templates because those are adjustable, and it allows me to get stuff done, executed fast, without having to devote too much brain power to doing it. So we're going to jump back a little bit here. So when we're talking about a scroll stopping social media post, you want the hook, which is the thing that stops the scroll. It's going to be like a controversial statement or a call out specifically to a specific audience. You just want to stop people from scrolling. You know, the one that I use a lot when I'm discussing this with people is, most small businesses don't fail because of bad ideas. They fail because nobody ever saw the damn thing. That is a very challenging statement, and it's talking to small business owners, and small business owners know that's true. Okay, that's your hook. It's something to stop them. We're going to tease a little bit. We're going to hit at what's coming, And so that's part 2. That's the next step. If you're posting 3 times a week and still getting no sales, this is probably why. And so we're hooking them, we're kind of teasing and piquing their curiosity so that they want to scroll and learn, see more. Number 3 is the body. This is going to be 1 or 2 short chunks or story beats. You're going to use short paragraphs. You're avoiding text walls. You mix in bullet points, this versus that, or have a small story to supplement your point. Okay. Talk about some transformation that you've provided and make it as short and as sweet as possible. Okay. Number 4 is going to be the lesson or offer. So this is the takeaway. This is what you learned in your short story. Okay. And so, or it's going to be some straight up advice. And so the example we have here is visibility doesn't mean sales. Clarity and connection do. Okay. And then number 5 is going to be your call to action. This is where you're going to tell them exactly what you need them to do and be very direct about it. This is an instruction. Okay. It can be soft or hard. I normally like firm call to action. I don't like soft ones because I don't like the ambiguous nature of them. Okay. So click here to learn more, comment this to learn to receive this. So you really want to focus on that piece of it. Okay. And for the eye flow, you want to enhance readability. So you're going to use white space like punctuation. You're going to use gaps. So you're going to use more spacing than you would think. I'll just put it like that. Bold phrases or using your caps lock. Okay. This does violate a lot of rules of writing. And I understand that for my writing nerds out there. The struck and what is it? What is it? The one I used to use when I had to write court reports. Struck and Howard. Is it Struck and Howard? Struck and White. The elements of style. The Strunk and White. If you're locked into the elements of style, this is going to upset you. But that don't fly on social media. You're not writing to entertain, you're writing to get people to take an action. And so it looks different. That goes into the reading level piece too. Most people comprehend at a 3rd grade reading level, regardless of what their education status is. Bold phrases, use your caps, use emojis sparingly. This is an AI thing. Sometimes I go heavy on emoji. Sometimes I tell it to not put any emojis in there. It really depends on who your audience is, especially if you're bullet pointing stuff. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why we don't do bullets anymore and why a lot of social media platforms don't allow for bullet points. Because now it's emojis and that's more visually distracting to me than bullet points. And keep it through a 3rd grade reading level if possible, especially for ADHD or time-starved audience, because when people read stuff, when they read posts on social media, they're not really reading them. They're skimming them and trying to extract the information they need. What makes it convert? So relatability, you're going to show the pain and struggle. Specificity, vague posts don't sell. Be blunt as possible. Authority by action, tell them what you've done and not what you've read. I've been using this format for all of my social media posts for years in one form or another. This is kind of the distillation of it. This is kind of the perfected, fine-tuned version of it. But I've been doing this for years with my social media posts as a marketing person. And use a lot of before and after. Facebook will punish you for before and after pics on social media, but you can still use before and after language. Okay. We talk about the mistake versus the fix, what you tried versus what works. Okay. Those are things that you can include. You can always throw in, if I had to start over and then start a personal journey. If I had to start over, I would do this. Here's what most people get wrong about blah. So now you're positioning yourself as an authority and you're telling people the common sense things that are wrong. This used to be me before and after. You're kind of showing what your personal transformation is. And then, or steal this, like you're giving them some inside information. Okay. So those are the different frameworks that you use when you're writing social media copy. And when I say social media copy, I mean stuff you post on social media, Copy are just words that sell. Okay. That's really what it is. When I say copy, when I say ad copy, those are words that sell things. Those are words that get people to take actions. Okay. So I'm about to jump back into my next work sprint here. Was thinking about doing some automations on the back end. I don't know if you guys are really truly interested in that stuff. Um, but uh, I can probably do it on a future live stream where I actually show you how I do automations for products and services. It's really kind of an interesting thing, what you're able to do with automations and some of the things that used to require your time, which are low leverage kind of things. They're high leverage, but low leverage at the same time. They're just time consuming. They're not hard, but they're time consuming. And one of the most valuable commodities is time. And so sometimes you got to guard that with your life. All right. So we have attacked the first part on my priority list. And I'm going to go through and start my checks here. I don't need all that stuff yet. Okay. The next thing is I want to do some revise our ad, our post on for the 15th. I want to revise some stuff for our back to basics stuff with the CMA Academy. We're re-emphasizing some of the services that brought us to where we are, because we've kind of taken our eye off the ball with some of that stuff, and so that's going to be the next thing that I start working on. And so you're going to get a little bit more thinking about how we're presented and positioned in the Omaha market. And these are a little bit higher level conversations, so hopefully you can stay with me on that one. All right, let me see where my timer is. Sorry, I'm answering an AI question. So one of the things I did is I was kind of playing around with VO3, which is Google's new video generator, and it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. Um, I see a lot of utility for marketers, especially when you're operating on a shoestring budget and you cannot afford to bring in to hire a video, to bring in, a director of photography and actors and people and scripts and all that other stuff for little short video content. It can work. I don't know what the longer form of this looks like. I do think it's going to prove to be a disruptor, and not in a good way for a lot of people that are actors and stuff. But I do think that the technology is sufficiently limited enough that people are going to start seeing through some of these AI generated videos. Okay. So the next thing on my task list is we're going to um, go through our relaunch. I'm gonna talk you through a little bit of my thinking about how we're marketing this thing, and give you a couple of insights. If you have any questions or marketing questions, please drop them in the chat so I can answer them, specifically regarding your brand, or if you're interested in launching a business. You can pick. This is an opportunity for you to pick my brain a little bit. Now I answer them live on the stream. I never hold anything back on these streams when people ask questions. Okay. So, and I feel it's Friday afternoon and I feel my stuff, I feel my ADHD coming on strong. So I'm gonna power through this next piece of it. Hopefully you're able to get some value out of it and knock out some tasks you have. We're gonna start our sprint now. So specifically, my task with this relaunch, with this product relaunch, is finalizing the pricing, getting the schedule for the promotion nailed down, um, write the copy for it, write the ads for it, build a landing page for it. And part of that's already taken care of. I've already done some of this stuff, and then send emails out to our list, kind of talk, to our email list to let them know that we're revitalizing some aspects and relaunching some aspects of our speed and agility stuff. Okay. And then when we make the formal announcement, I'm probably going to need to write a little bit of a script or outline for it. So these are the things I got going on. I'm probably going to work on the first part today. On the next break, I got to return a phone call here. It's all business, y'all. I'm still doing business here. While I'm doing that, I need to open up Wave. Because I got to run a profit and loss statement too for some financial stuff. So I need to run a profit and loss statement for one of my businesses. I hope y'all getting the sense of how my ADHD works when I'm trying to get stuff done. I'm definitely good enough to hone in on tasks that I need to get done. Okay, I'm gonna have to pay for this. So the thought process behind this is um, writing this. I need to really call out my audience. What the hell is this? The idea is I'm really trying to call out my audience uh, because that's what good copy does. That's what good ads do. It really drags people in and kind of pins them down and makes them think about what their position is in terms of what you're trying to do. Ew. And I see people popping in. I do appreciate y'all popping in and out. Like I said, this is the co-working live stream, and so you're going to get a little bit of me talking and a little bit of me working, and hopefully the idea is you bring your own tasks that you need to knock out. Oh, crap. This is the Friday live stream. Please bring your tasks that you need to knock out before the weekend, and you can co-work right next to me. That's crazy. Right now, I got sidetracked on a sidebar on a side mission because I had to run a profit and loss statement. All right, so we're on a break here. All right, so during this break, I think I'm gonna make this phone call real quick, so I'm not tying y'all up, just so that I can follow up, because it's a business inquiry, and I don't want to leave those pending for too long. Otherwise, I'll forget about them. So make a quick call here. Um, Again, thanks for tuning in. If you're on the live stream, this is our co-working live stream. Bring your tasks and we knock them out together. I'm going to go ahead and post my banner so that you can see what we about here. All right, hold on. So here's the thing: as a marketer, I always respect salesmen. Um, trying shooting their shot, trying their best. The thing I don't is typically when I know what the story of a marketer, like I run a marketing agency. I know the difference sales. So one of the things we just went through on that call was I told him I'd get back to him on Monday, and he tried to run the scarcity thing down. Now, the pretend scarcity thing, that can be a powerful tool, but the people see through it. It loses its function as a marketer or somebody. If you're creating an ad for something, when you try to fake scarcity, people see through it. There's truly scarcity. Um, if there's, like I said, if there's truly scarcity, um, he wouldn't be calling, if that makes sense. And so, um, we wouldn't be hearing, he wouldn't have to call and check up on anything. And so the fake scarcity really kind of irritates me because I know it's a ploy. I see through it. Um, you know, well, there's only limited space left. Okay, then I guess I'll just catch you next time. So anyway, it is what it is, y'all. Okay, so where was I? I got that account connected. I'm running a P&L statement here, so I'm gonna do that here. Um, and I'm also writing copy for this relaunch. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing that on the stream because it's gonna require a little bit more concentrated mind power to do this. Um, one of the things is when one of my businesses, we have to do kind of a return to form, um, and re-emphasize some services that we have kind of taken for granted or we haven't really focused on, and they're the services that are actually in demand. And so we have to give some attention to those specific services, and so that's what this entire brand relaunch is. And we're kind of making June the back to July the back to basics month because everything slows down in July. And it makes sense if we're going to pursue it like that. It makes a lot of sense to pick a slower month to implement it, so there's not as much pain when we change things around. Hopefully that makes sense. So this one's going to require a little bit of more mind power and a little bit more strategery, a little bit more strategic thinking. And so that's just what that is. So I'm probably going to hold off on that. Let's take a step back here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Need to add a little bit more to this. That's not right. Oh yeah, because I got to add the other 19,000 in there. Okay. That's not what I'm looking for. Let me do this because I need to add this in here. Because over that time period, we're not getting credit for about $19,000. Okay, for those that I don't think I mentioned it, we're in the work sprint here. So that's why I'm not talking, I'm working. If you have tasks that you need to knock out, go ahead and bring them here. And then after this one, we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. Let's go back to my P&L statement and generate that. Because I'm getting too far. I'm getting too far afield with this. This is a pain in the ass. Wow. This is going to be a pain in the ass. Damn, we just paid them, bro. This doesn't look good. We will do this later on. I'm not doing account reconciliation yet. I don't need that yet. I spelled that wrong. What am I looking at? Okay, we're about due here. This is about to pop up. Got about 1 minute left on this timer, y'all. And then we're going to conclude for the day so I can focus on this thing that I need to focus on. But I need to go, I think I had to go through and figure out my transactions. Sorry if I'm doing that. My camera, the lens on this camera ain't too great, and the focus is a little bit jacked. All right, so we're wrapping this up. Here's the thing, y'all. Um, the idea behind this is you come in and you co-work with me and answer questions during the interim. And so I've had good weeks and bad weeks. This is kind of a week where I didn't have too many people popping in. So next week I'll be back. I still bring my tasks. I show up every week, depending on what y'all do. So that's what I got on today. Is hopefully you got a little bit out of it during our times when we were discussing stuff. If you missed it, run it back and look. We discussed I discussed some stuff regarding ad creation and how to create eye-catching ads. And so hopefully you guys got something out of it. Hopefully you guys got some stuff done because that's really what this is. That's how I rate this thing. I'll be back on Monday. I'm going to be doing some heavy duty marketing stuff with Fearless. I'm helping him basically customize his website for marketing purposes, and so that's what we're going to be back on the live stream. So that's going to be a little bit more utility. Bring questions if you want to know what this thing actually looks like. I appreciate y'all's time. Talk to y'all later. Peace.